Welcome to the Get Smart with Money podcast. I'm your host, Dayna Hernandez, financial planner and author of Get Smart with Money. Break free from the struggle, build wealth on your terms, and rewrite your money story. Here we talk about money, entrepreneurship, growth, and resilience, because financial freedom is about more than just numbers. Each week, you'll get practical strategies, inspiring stories, and the motivation you need to stress less about money and create more freedom in your life. Let's get smart with money together. Welcome to the Get Smart with Money podcast. Today we're talking about something bigger than money. It is purpose, resilience, and the legacy that we leave behind. Joining us today is Mark Wade, a financial advisor with nearly 5 decades of experience, featured on MarketWatch, Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, and NASDAQ. Beyond finance, Mark has an incredible personal story, from working multiple jobs through college to surviving stage 4 cancer and triple bypass, experiences that shaped his perspective on life, family, and wealth. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Dana. What a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Um, and I'm really excited to actually talk to a financial advisor. It's not too often that I get to. So,
All right.
being a financial planner, I cannot call myself an advisor yet, but I'm
Well,
getting
I
there.
understand you're well on your way.
Yes, studying for that Series 65 has been a long journey so far. I think I've been studying since late January and it's
It's in the
almost June.
bag.
Yeah, it's getting there though. Like, every time I do get on there and study, I am learning stuff. It's just retaining all this like foreign information right now is kind of weird. I never thought that I would ever study anything like that. But it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people would say it's kind of boring and, but I mean it kind of is, but it's also interesting because I like the knowledge that you learn. There's all kinds of stuff like having to do with taxes, and it's talking about LLCs and all kinds of stuff like that right now. So I always like learning about all that.
And it's amazing, Dana. Even after this 48 years that I've been doing the only thing I've ever done, things have the rate of change, the rate of evolution is so immense. We learn new things almost every day. It's crazy.
I'm sure. And I like jobs like that. Like I just mentioned, I still have my 50-hour work week at my actual job, but there I do actually learn things every day, I will say. Um, so it's
Well,
it's cool. It's not about financial services though. It's
You
just
said
about
uh, you said the job word.
I did,
So
I
I'm
did.
I'm going to give you another one, the LLC. Most people think that LLC is limited liability company, right?
Yeah.
I call the LLC a lifetime learning commitment.
Ah,
So it's got
okay.
it's got two meanings in my world. It's got the limited liability company, but the lifetime learning commitment thing, I got to tell you, it truly is an accurate description because, as I mentioned, things change so dramatically nowadays. It's unbelievable.
Yes, no, I definitely believe you. My mentor has been in the business for going on 35 years now. So he's always constantly telling us new things that he's learning, and he'll just summarize it for us, which is awesome. But we can always go and do our own research too. So that's been
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you've had an incredible journey. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and some of the experiences that shaped who you are today?
Wow. People often don't ask me that question. So thanks. Uh, yeah, let's see, I was born in Newark, New Jersey, to a very poor family. And my mom was a waitress her entire life. And my stepdad was an auto mechanic.
Oh,
And my mom raised 4 boys. And when I was a junior in high school. So I say this, uh, my mom was great. We always had, a roof over our head and food on the table most of the time.
okay.
Because even if she had to bring home leftovers from the diner, we usually had food.
Good.
Uh,
Yeah.
but we moved to what I called the country at that time was only 12 miles away from Newark, New Jersey. It was really only the suburbs, but there was a park at the end of my street. So I called it the country because there were no parks where I lived. We lived in a high-rise building, not the nice kind. So when we moved to the suburbs, I thought we had moved to the country. I could literally walk down the end of the block and play in a park. But my junior year in high school was the summer between my junior year of high school and senior year. My mom came home one day and she said, "Honey, the parents of some of your classmates were in the diner for lunch today, and they were talking about who was going to this college and who was going to that college and who got a scholarship and so on and so forth." And she said, "So, and I was thinking about you, and so I just wanted to tell you, I'm sure you realize it already, but if you want to go to college, you're going to have to find a way to get there because we're not going to be able to send you to college." I said, "Ma, I already knew that. That's okay." So I worked for a year after high school before I went to college, and I saved up enough money for the first semester.
Nice.
And
Okay.
uh, and I enrolled in college, and everybody said, "Well, what are you going to do after that's gone? What are you going to do for the second semester?" I said, "I don't know, but I'll figure it out when I get there." And that's what I did. So I worked three jobs in college. I worked two jobs during the school year and three jobs. I added another job during the summertime,
Mm,
and took every loan that I could possibly get for tuition and room and board, and made my way through college. And when I graduated, so I started college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I find it such a great advantage when people know what they want to do when they start college. If they have, a particular thing in mind for a career or a profession, I think that's awesome. But I didn't, because I knew I didn't want to be a waitress, and I knew I didn't want to be a auto mechanic, and that's all I knew about. That's what my
right.
parents were.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousin was going to college at the same time, and he was pre-med. So I said, "Well, that sounds like a good idea. I think I'll be pre-med too. At least I know my cousin, and we'll be able to take courses together, right?"
Yeah.
So I started college as a pre-med major, and that lasted for three semesters. And during the well, actually, yeah, three semesters. During the third semester, I had you have to take these things in college called free electives, right?
Yeah.
Which they're outside of your core course of study, and you have to fill in the credits with free electives. So
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, you know what, if I'm paying for this, I'm not going to take all the other courses that everybody else is taking for fun. Um, I'm going to take something that's really meaningful. So I said, I knew nothing about money, nothing. I said, I'm going to take this course called Economics 101.
Okay.
That changed the game for me right there. That was it. I have to tell you, I had the most phenomenal professor that I had ever experienced.
That's
She also
awesome.
just happened to be the chairman of the department,
Oh,
but she was a phenomenal communicator. She made learning economics fun. She
that's
made, she game,
rare.
she
That's hard to
gamified
do.
it,
That's
right?
good.
She gamified it. And
Okay.
uh, and I fell in love with economics, and I went to her and I said, Dr. Bogan was her name. I said, "Dr. Bogan," I said, "I want to change my major to economics, and would you be my advisor?" She
Hmm.
says, "Well, yeah, but let's talk about that for a second. You're pre-med." She goes, "Are you sure you don't want to be pre-med anymore?" I go, "Listen, I still want to help people, but I just want to help them with their money." I said,
Yeah.
the medicine is probably not going to be for me." I said, I was iffy about whether I wanted to do that, but I had to declare a major and I didn't know what to declare, so pre-med was it.
Mm-hmm.
I became an economics major and I never looked back. And I knew then that that's how I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people with their finances. And you're probably thinking, well, how did he know he wanted to do that? Because my parents had no help.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody helped my parents. I found out as life went on, they had made so many mistakes, unwittingly and unknowingly, because
Yeah.
they had no education in that area. And I said, so I want to help people with money and finances. And uh, and the rest is history.
I like
Yeah,
that.
the rest is history.
I like
So I
that.
went on for advanced studies and more certifications and initials after my name. I don't even write them down anymore. It just seems like alphabet soup.
Yeah.
But but the career has been phenomenal for me. it was maybe the smartest decision I ever made in my life, other than marrying my wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
There it is.
so there you go.
Awesome. Yeah, I always knew that I would never go into medical, but I wanted to help people, and I didn't exactly know how to. And I was like 18 or something when I was thinking this. Um, and I've always been more of a proactive person, so I was always like working my job, but always like checking out different things and seeing whatever would cross my path. And it finally crossed my path when I actually moved out of California to Nevada. And I was thinking, I was like putting it out in the universe, I guess, like not even knowing it, but I was like, okay, I'm 29 at this point, and I was like, I want a career, like I want to figure out how I can help people, and it just happened. I first started was I was doing training for how to do taxes for people, and then the training was not there. It was bad. So I was
Hmm.
like, well, I guess maybe it's not taxes. And then like a week later, financial services kind of crossed my path because I wanted to get new life insurance myself. And then they introduced me to the actual business and the company, and I was like, this is it. I knew this is what I wanted to do. And it was kind of crazy because I had put myself in debt when I was working. That was a grocery store that I was working at. I was there for almost 10 years, but I didn't really have a good sense of how to save money or what to save it for or just because. So I just kind of ended up doing whatever I wanted with my money. And then when I was shopping around for new car insurance, I had life insurance with the company previously. And then when I switched, they didn't do life insurance. So they were able to hook me up with my trainer, and she showed me the company. And it was just funny how that all kind of played into each other. I put myself in a debt and I'm looking for a cheaper rate for car insurance. And then I find what I'm looking for because I put myself in debt. So, and now that I've, gone through like years of roommates and nightmares with all of that, I just want to be able to help people not go through what I had to go through to just make sure that I could pay my bills and have a roof over my head. And I needed help with that with roommates. So, um, that's kind of my realization that I wanted to do financial services.
You had an epiphany.
Yes, I did.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Isn't it
so
great? Isn't it great when it finally happens?
yeah, it is. It's like when you know, like when you finally meet your person, it's like, wow, that really is a thing too. When you know, you know.
You know, you know. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But so that's excellent. So so tell me, where do you see yourself in the process right now?
In the process right now, I've been trying to make new connections with people around town, and I kind of put it out in the universe again, where I was like, I need to find a nonprofit or something, someone to go talk to. I can meet different people from the community.
Volunteer.
And yeah, that came across my path the other day. So I am going to be giving them my information and talking to them to see if I could get in there and talk to them about financial education because it's like a children's it's age 0 to age 24, I think it was, and then there's foster kids involved and stuff too. So, and like everybody in this community knows that nonprofit. I'm not going to name them yet just because it's not like a final thing, but it's just a cool opportunity that I want to definitely pursue because everyone in this community knows them. And I want to be able to help foster kids because I've met recently a couple of foster kids through my stepson that he's friends with. And it was just like, I was like, oh my God, like I just felt like such a calling to like help these kids. So,
So Dana, you have experienced it then. You know that there is little to no education
oh yeah.
available on financial subjects for school age kids. There's
Mm-hmm.
none.
Yeah, they don't teach anything out here.
No.
It's so sad.
And there's such a
So,
need.
yeah, I literally sat down with my stepson the other day and I had these little flashcards, and he just learned about what interest was, what a savings account does, how a credit card works, stuff like that. So I never was taught really the basics. Nobody sat down with me like that exactly. So I think that's kind of where my debt thing came into play there, but I wanted to just sit down with him and get his head kind of, on those subjects. And we're actually going to go to our company convention all together in like a month. So,
Well, brava to you, lady. That's outstanding. Good for you
yes.
because you're going to be performing such a needed service to
Yeah, I'm very
probably the people
excited.
who really can't afford it anyway. They just need the education.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. Like that's the most basic thing is really just knowing what even to do in the first place, how to even save $10. So I'm really excited to have that opportunity for that nonprofit in town. So I really
Good
hope
for
that
you.
goes through. And then I've been trying to get to more networking events whenever I'm not working my job. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah. Um,
Good.
yes. And do you have a money story? I kind of told you mine, but like besides like your parents not really having too much money, but did they teach you things like money doesn't grow on trees type things? Were those kind of ideals like instilled in your head that you had to break
So
out of?
my mom was an incredible. She taught me perseverance.
Mm,
She taught me that nothing comes easy. You have to work hard for everything that life brings to you. Nobody's ever going to hand you anything on a silver platter. Of course, I knew that. We were poor.
hmm
Um, and that and that if you put the time and energy in and you have the drive and the willingness, opportunities will open up for you.
Yes.
And it's interesting. And when I started and graduated college in my early corporate career, again, I've always been in the financial industry. Uh, I had a secret to success. You know what it was?
What?
It was anytime we were in a meeting or anytime there was a job that needed to be done and nobody wanted to do it because it was dirty or inconvenient or it was a lousy job, whatever it was. Like I remember this one time, uh, our sales manager at the time came to us and said, "Listen, we need somebody to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma on a Sunday morning for a Sunday morning meeting after church at this church to talk to them and the pastors about their retirement
hmm
and their plan."
Okay.
There's like 50 of us in the room. Nobody raised their hand. Nobody would want to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma on a Sunday morning to talk to three pastors in a church about their retirement savings, right?
Yeah.
Just three people. That's it, right? And so they're looking around. And he goes, "Nobody." So I raised my hand. I'll do it. So I did that. And so my theory was if I did that enough times, that when a really good, either a job opportunity or an opening of some type came along, that hopefully they would remember the guy who got them out of trouble when, or not out of trouble, but no, the guy who did the job when nobody would volunteer to do the job. And if
hmm
I do that enough times, maybe they'll remember me. That was my early secret to success.
No, that makes sense.
And it
That
worked
makes
out.
sense.
It worked out
Yeah, I'm
because
sure.
eventually an opportunity came along. And so I got to be a sales trainer and then I became a sales manager and then up and up and up and up. And when I left corporate America in 1987, I was regional vice president for the Western United States. I ran the entire Western United States, west of the Mississippi, for one of the major brokerage firms,
Hmm.
and that was my
Wow.
last. That was my last corporate job.
Okay.
I went independent in 1987 and never looked back.
Yeah. I would love to have my own firm, my own office myself. So,
It can happen.
yeah, it can happen.
Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna show
that'd
you
be awesome.
how it can happen.
Okay.
Are you familiar with a fellow by the name of Dick Vitale? Did you ever hear of Dick Vitale?
The
Dick
last name
Vitale
sounds familiar.
is a famous sportscaster. Famous
Hmm
sportscaster. And he's the one that coined the phrase, "You're awesome, baby." And he had that really deep, boomy voice. And he was on Gillette commercials. And his big thing is he was known for being a color commentator on college basketball.
Okay.
So Dick Vitale, so he's a famous sportscaster, and people will recognize his name. So I got invited to do a book with a bunch of other people. You familiar with that book called Chicken Soup for the Soul?
Yeah.
And what it is a compilation of stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
For people who have overcome various different things and accomplished various different things, and so they call it Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
Well, Dick Vitale did one. Only his version of the book was called
Never give up.
Never
Awesome. Look
Give
at
Up.
you. It's both
So
you
Never Give
guys.
Up with Dick
Uh-huh.
Vitale, and I'm just one of the chapters in the book.
Okay.
There are 20 or some chapters in the book, but that's my thing, never give up. My
Mm-hmm.
mom taught me that, the perseverance and always, 110% and never ever quit. So I can tell you this to this day right now, I've never quit anything in my life ever.
Mm-hmm.
So when the opportunity came up to be one of the chapters in Dick Vitale's book, Never Give Up, I said, you know what? My story's made for that.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of it.
That's
Uh,
awesome. I like
thanks. I
you on the
appreciate
cover
it.
there.
Yeah. That became a bestseller in 3 categories on Amazon.
Right on.
So
That's
I'm a
awesome.
best-selling author too now. Go
Yeah.
figure. Through no
That
genius of my own, I promise.
just experience.
It was an experience, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's it. I mean, so that's my early story. Now, my story since I've been in the industry, in the business, and as a corporate executive and as an independent business owner. Uh, so I run an RIA, a registered investment advisory service. I also have an insurance brokerage operation, um, and it's been challenging. It's always been challenging. I'm going to tell you, it's never easy ever,
Yeah.
and especially got significantly harder. It was hard as a corporate guy because my last 2 years in the corporate world were involved in corporate roll-ups, taking over other brokerage firms.
Oh.
So unfortunately, I was involved in the Western states of trimming down the workforce
Okay.
because when you take over a firm, there's duplication of positions, right?
Right.
And you have to decide who's the person from which firm is going to be the best choice. So I was involved in that, and I didn't enjoy that very much, simply for the
Yeah.
pure nature of, you're have to you're deciding who gets to stay and who gets to leave.
Yeah. That's
So
not
it's a lot of
enjoyable.
responsibility. But when I went independent, it presents you with a new set of challenges. It's a whole different world when you sign the front of the paycheck as opposed to the back of the paycheck.
Yeah.
When you're the one who's responsible for employees out of your corporate funds that you own the company, it's a whole different deal. So I've been fortunate. I had 2 prior companies that we were fortunate enough to sell, and this is my third. And the
Okay.
name of this company now, so Echelon Family Office is the name of the RIA, right? Echelon Virtual Family Office.
Yeah.
But we DBA, we do business as Retirement Suite.
Okay.
Retirement
Yeah.
Suite. And and since 87, we worked with corporate executives and business owners and individuals. But now we try to focus primarily on, I should say, we spend our time, energy, and money looking for the ideal client who we characterize as somebody 55 to 75,
Mm-hmm.
pre-retired or retired. Um, they typically have a $2 million net worth or greater. I should say $2 million of net investable assets or greater, which is typically a $10 million net worth or greater. Though we work with others, we do work with people who who don't have amassed those kind of assets. They have less assets, providing, and this is the key. And if I would say, think about this as your career is growing.
Hmm.
Think about choosing clients as we do now that you can make a true and meaningful difference for. Because you seem like the kind of person to me who has a heart.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And I do also. And and because you are that way, and because you look like an empath to me, it looks like you seem like you're empathetic
Hmm.
to other people's challenges, if only because you've gone through your own, right?
Yeah.
Similar to me. So it's easy to want to help as many people as you can. The challenge to that is when you try to be too many things to too many different people,
Hmm.
oftentimes you're not very good at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You want to because you have a heart. You want to help everybody, but at some point you have to realize you're going to be good at doing certain things
Hmm.
and you're going to develop your own wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Or this weekend was the Grand Prix, right?
Yeah.
The Indianapolis Grand Prix. You know, you got to try and stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane and get really good at that. Get really deep knowledge. Get really good at that. And and as time goes on, you'll realize who you're best at helping.
Okay.
So
I
that's,
definitely have a good idea of what my lane should be. So,
oh, let me hear it. I want to hear it.
well, I really like focusing on IULs and basically just helping people cut down on paying taxes. And then again with those kids, I just want to focus on the education with kids and like their families and stuff too. But I see a lot of people without life insurance at all and always the GoFundMe pages. So, and there's a lot of stories that I hear from people who had somebody that they loved that died, and then everything hit home really hard for the family after that. So, life insurance being IULs in particular, I really want to focus in on and get really good at, as well as these brokerage accounts, which is why I'm taking the Series 65 test at some point. I haven't not scheduled it yet, but um, I really want to start helping more wealthy people because one, it's easy to talk to them. They know what they want. Um, they know how money works. So I do want to kind of focus and hone in on kind of the older client, older than me anyway. I'm in my 30s, but um, yeah, and it's kind of what my idea is right now. Those basic three things.
You want to hear my feelings about IUL?
Okay. Yes.
Mm. Strap in. IUL is a phenomenal product.
Hmm.
I'm a huge believer in index universal life insurance. Many of our clients decide that they want to own it somewhere during our planning process.
Okay.
It's not for everybody. It really
No.
isn't.
No.
But for those people that it does work for, it is a phenomenal tool. Kind of
Yes.
liken it to the unlimited IRA,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
unlimited Roth,
Yeah.
right? Uh, you got to pay the tax going in, just like you do with a Roth. It compounds tax free, right? It grows
Yep.
to whatever it's going to grow to. You don't pay tax on it while it's growing. With
Right.
the Roth, you get to withdraw money and don't pay tax on it. And with the IUL, you get to borrow your own money and not pay tax on it. And in
Yes.
fact, when you borrow it out, you're really borrowing the insurance company's money. Your account gets to stay in there and continues to grow. So
Yes.
we love IUL. We love it as a portion of somebody's overall wealth strategy.
Hmm.
It's not for everybody, and nobody should put all of their money into it, we believe.
No.
But certainly people that can, afford to own it, there's some portion of their investable assets that should go into an IUL. We think it's phenomenal. So good for you. You picked a good solution.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So you mentioned you had a mentor or somebody. Are they
Mhm.
mentoring you in the IUL business?
Yes.
Good. Anybody I might know?
Maybe. His name is
Okay.
John Shin. He's a multimillionaire. He wrote the one of the Napoleon Hill publications, How Rich Asians Think, and he made the book on Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy. Or he made
Outstanding.
the movie. Yeah, he made the movie and he read the book. And as well as he has got other companies as well, that we can work with too, being in financial services. So it's really cool to know him, and we get free mentoring from him, and we see him every week on his webinar.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. So, so, you know, rarely in my experience, though I have seen it happen. I have seen it happen where, somebody buys one product and it really changes their life dramatically. But
Hmm.
I'll say this, the IUL, that product as part of an overall financial solution for people is it's a tremendous, it's extremely powerful. It's very flexible. Um, and it can do a lot of different things. We call it the Swiss Army knife of life insurance. It can do so
Yeah,
many different things. It's unbelievable.
it basically is. That's how he buys a lot of his properties. He just borrows from his IUL, and it's tax-free money coming out, and it's awesome.
The family banking concept,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it's basically like your own bank. Yeah,
It's
IULs are
funny that
awesome.
you should invite me to your podcast, not knowing, what my philosophical bent might be on a product like an IUL. And it just so happens I'm a big fan. I think IULs are one of the best tools you can have in your financial toolbox.
It is, it is. And then I've learned that you can use it for collateral if you really need to, for maybe starting a side business or whatever. But it's cool because you can use it for anything, pretty
Yep.
much anything, and your family gets all that money tax free after you pass. So,
For years we did estate planning for clients. We still do in the process of doing our overall retirement plan. But for corporate purposes, for retirement purposes, for family banking purposes, I mean, it just does so many different things at one time. And uh, one of the biggest things it always did was create an estate where there was not one before.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I would we would run illustrations for clients, and now we run the projections for the retirement, and we say how there's no other way you can take a little bit of money every month or every year. There's no way to do it. No how, no way, not under any circumstances, not in the remotest possibility can you begin to approach the financial efficiency of a properly structured, owned, and paid for life insurance contract, whether it's IUL or any other kind of life insurance for that matter, for
Mhm.
estate planning purposes to create an estate? I've extended that on from there to say there's no way you can approach the financial magnificence of what a properly structured contract can do.
Yes.
There's just no other way you can take a little bit of money and turn it into a lot of money at the time your family's most going to need it when
Yeah.
you die.
Hmm.
No other way to do it.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. What do you think about annuities? Because I do and don't like them. I mostly like them, but just the fact that like the income that someone takes is taxable, which makes sense that it would be taxable, but it sucks also at the same time.
Yeah, here's what I think about it. I think that fixed income annuities, right? FIAs, fixed indexed annuities, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think they're a very good product when you deploy them in the right manner. When you use them under the right circumstances for the right purpose, you own them the right way, you pay for them. I mean, they can be very useful products
Hmm.
because, like the fixed index life insurance, yes, there is some there is truth to the fact that the earnings coming out of those annuities will be taxable and show up on the front page of a 1040 in most cases. But it's an alternative for people who can't get life insurance because they don't
Right.
qualify, either
Yeah.
medically, right? Or for some reason, maybe they're too old or whatever the case may be. So they're a great, there's three reasons why. That's one of them. They can't get life insurance. The other one is fixed index annuities have proved to be a phenomenal proxy for the fixed income portion of a investment portfolio. So
Okay. Yeah.
think about it. If you own bonds in your investment portfolio, what are the bonds subject to? Yeah, they're going to throw off income, presumably, but what are they subject to? They're subject to market value fluctuation, just like the rest of the portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you use the fixed income annuity, which we do in many, many, many cases, fixed indexed annuity, sorry, in many cases, as the fixed income portion of an overall portfolio,
Hmm.
what don't you have? Loss, because it
Right.
can
It's
go down.
guaranteed.
You can't lose money due to a market value fluctuation.
Right.
It
Yeah.
won't go down because the market goes down.
Hmm.
So you lock in your value each and every year, and so your return for the year is either going to be what? It's going to be zero or whatever the portfolio allocation earns you.
Hmm.
So as for the fixed income, the bond portion of an overall portfolio, we think fixed index annuities are an excellent proxy for that, especially when a person can't afford to lose the money,
Yeah.
right?
True. Yep.
And then as far as programming an income stream in retirement, there are the many of the fixed indexed annuities out there now have phenomenal fixed income provisions and fixed income riders on them. And so now you can guarantee somebody a fixed income, additional fixed income in retirement, and a fixed income that can grow if the annuity value grows every year. And what can it do? It can't go down in value
Right.
any. So, I mean, again, people often have said to me, just kind of the same question you just asked me, Dana. They say, Mark, what do you think about XYZ investment? What do you think about ABC investment? And I say, listen, most investments can be good. Most can be good if you deploy them properly. If you use them for the right purpose in the right situation, pay for it the right way, own it the right way. If you, everything about it, the surrounding circumstances is correct and appropriate for the individual, most investments can be good.
Hmm.
It's how do you program them in an overall financial strategy,
Yes.
right?
Agreed.
What what piece does the IUL fit? What piece does the FIA fit? What piece does the bond portfolio? What piece does the stock portfolio? What piece does the real estate? What piece of the overall strategy does each individual piece play? They all
Hmm.
have their purpose and their place.
Hmm. What would you say to someone who doesn't have a portfolio and who doesn't think that it would be something that they would need?
Well, can you imagine? I run into people all the time that have enormous real estate portfolios. People, I mean, people that have, rental properties or commercial properties, and they own a business, and maybe the business occupies one, but they don't own any stocks or bonds, or here's one of the greatest lines I've heard my entire career. How many times have you heard somebody say, I don't believe in life insurance,
Oh yeah, all the time.
right?
Yeah.
And my standard response to that has always been, I'm so happy to hear that. I can't tell you how glad I am that you said that because life insurance is not religion. You don't have to believe in it. It's
Right.
just a tool.
Hmm.
It's just a tool to use. And if the tool helps solve a problem that you have, or it helps to add to your overall financial picture for a reason or five reasons,
Hmm.
then it's a tool that you should consider. You don't have to believe in it. It just has to work for you.
Hmm.
So,
I like that.
you know how people feel free to steal it. I stole it from somebody else years ago.
That's awesome. I like it.
No, life insurance is not religion. You don't have to believe in it. It's just a tool to use.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's interesting. I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something, but I forgot what it was. Oh, darn.
Um, well,
What
the question, it was basically like, what would you tell somebody who didn't believe that they needed a portfolio?
Oh. So yeah, I mean, there are many people that I meet that have big real estate portfolios, or they own a business or three or five, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't own any stocks and bonds. And they said, well, I get it. You've been extremely successful. The two primary ways, although the world is changing, but when I was growing up, the two primary ways when I would meet people who were successful and what I would call wealthy back then, right? I guess
Mm-hmm.
we call them affluent now. But the two things I always saw that they did for a living were either they owned real estate or they owned a business. And to a large degree, that's still kind of true today,
Yeah.
although there are so many other ways to become wealthy nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the drivers behind both of those two things are to some degree tax related or intellectual property related, right? So real estate, I mean, good Lord, I mean, rental real estate is all about the taxes and depreciation. Right? Depreciation benefits in rental real estate are still one of the primary reasons that people will buy it because it helps to shelter income from the IRS and the less money under the law, the IRS, that book is enormous. And if you're skilled or know people who are skilled at being able to figure out how to apply the Internal Revenue Code, then you can save a lot of money and just pay the IRS what it's really just entitled to, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the game. And real estate it was one of those tools that the IRS basically tells you how to leverage it to create wealth and pay them less money. So you have to know how to do that. And the other thing is, in a business, business owners sometimes they have intellectual property and they create something. They have something unique, something that they invented or whatever the case may be, or they're marketers, or or they're great at providing access to things like Jeff Bezos and Amazon. I mean, come on.
Oh
He
yeah.
basically says it. Well, yeah, I mean, we are extremely successful. Uh, and our basic thing is we get we make it easy to buy and we get it to you quick,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
We can go on there, we can buy something on Amazon, we can have it tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to leave today.
Yeah.
It'll just be here. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that's you, and out of that has spawned other businesses for him and other services. But yeah, I mean, having diversification, and
Yes.
that's where your question is leading to, being able to look at your assets and diversify into different asset classes, real estate, stocks, bonds, life insurance, businesses of different types. I mean, all the different asset classes lowers your risk in your overall investments.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, yeah, but things like commodities don't do that. Oh, contraire, my friend. Commodities are an absolute hedge against inflation,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you look at General Mills or you look at Kellogg. I mean, they're out there lowering their risk to grains and oats and wheat and all the various different components of their products by going into the commodities future markets and buying contracts 5 years in advance. So they're
Mm-hmm.
locking their price in on their production costs 5 years from now by paying a a a premium for it now. So
Yes, I was learning a little bit about that, studying for Series
yes,
65.
so even things like commodities, and I can tell you this, adding commodities to even if a small portion, 1 or 2% of your overall investment assets, lowers the risk in your overall asset portfolio. And you're probably learning about a thing called the efficient frontier. The efficient frontier says for each amount of risk I'm willing to take in my invested assets, what kind of return can I expect for that? And am I being fully compensated for the amount of risk I'm taking? That's the key.
Okay.
So by taking on a risky asset, and I'm not saying that everyone should do this, but for many people, right? Any investment could be good if you use it the right way under the right circumstances for the right people. Okay. So even taking a highly speculative asset like a commodities, gold, let's say, or silver right now is extremely popular.
Hmm.
That can help lower the overall risk in your overall investment portfolios because it's a non-correlated asset. It doesn't work in concert with everything else. It goes in the opposite direction in some cases. So when
Hmm.
your stocks and bonds are getting hammered, presumably the commodities might not. And your IUL and your FIA, there are ways to invest inside those things in other different types of asset classes inside those contracts
Hmm.
and not have the downside risk, but have the potential upside return. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Is anything I said right? Is it any of it clicking with you today?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially it's really actually helping in ways that I wouldn't expect to actually have been studying the Series 65, where I catch little things that people say now, like listening to the news or listening to you, and I'm like, oh, I kind of know a little bit about that now. So it's actually cool. I'm really happy I am studying for that because it's helping me understand things that I would just kind of dismiss, hear but dismiss. So,
And
but.
Dana, if you stay open-minded, and this is what I can say with a high degree of confidence for your listeners
Mhm.
and your podcast fans, you must stay open-minded
Hmm.
and you must continue to learn. A lifetime learning commitment, LLC. If you
Yep.
have a if you have a lifetime learning commitment and and don't fall into the trap of, oh, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in life insurance. I don't believe in stocks and bonds. I don't believe in, starting my own business. Stay open-minded to these possibilities because you're going to find opportunities in the future. And and the knowledge and then the time in the barrel, which you're gaining now, you're gaining the experience now. All of this is going to lead to wisdom. It works for you and it can work for your podcast fans the same way.
Hmm.
Stay open-minded to these things.
Yeah.
We're in crypto now. Okay, 10 years
Yeah.
ago, crypto. What's crypto? It wasn't on our radar.
Hmm.
But after the last 7 to 8 years or so, our clients kept coming to us. Mark, what do you think about, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about Ethereum? What do you think about? We had to go out and we had to learn and become certified into that to be advisors of it. So,
Okay.
so there's a certain portion of many of our client portfolios now that are in crypto, various types of crypto. So,
Interesting.
and gold and silver and collectibles and all of these things, stores of monetary value. You get that money is fungible, right? You
Hmm.
can move money around. It can take different forms, different shapes, use it for different purposes. Like we said, the IUL for different. So money is fungible. And as you open your mind and you learn more each and every day, and don't be prejudiced. Don't let your prejudice get in the way of you learning everything. It's
Hmm.
it's crazy. I learn every day. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
AI now is just it's blowing us. So it's blowing my mind.
Yeah. I use ChatGPT probably like a 3-year-old, but it's still amazing.
We use AI every day now. It's
Yeah.
part of everything. I don't do anything. I mean, it's open here on my. We got Claude over here, ChatGPT over here. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. So,
So stay open-minded, stay flexible.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I wish we had more time, but I will be respectful of your hour that you put aside. So, thank you so much for being here today, Mark. I really, really enjoyed that, and I think that brought some value to our audience here. And
That's
hopefully,
fine.
maybe I can have you on again at some point, because that was a good chat.
That's awesome. Listen, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, you're welcome.
You're delightful. You ask great questions, and anybody should be an honor to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
All righty.
Cool. Well, have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye bye now.
Bye. Please like, review, share, and subscribe to this podcast, and follow us on Instagram at GetSmartWMoney Podcast, as well as checking out our website at GetSmartWithMoneyPodcast.com.